graciousness of Mother's Tarot, and with her and Aley, and we're going to talk about UFOs and all sort of intergalactic experiences and answer questions. And my name's Amy, Earth Spirit, and yeah, take it away, Mother's Tarot.
Thank you, Amy. That was wonderful. Okay.
Yeah.
Aley, you want to say a little bit about your channel?
Sure. I just want to say hello. I've already got quite a number of people that are coming in from my channel. Thank you so much. I want you to know that Loretta is hosting this episode of Out of This World Chats. And we're just going to have some fun here today. So make sure you put in what you need to. And your turn now.
Okay. And thank you everyone for coming, and thank you for being here, Aley and Amy. I really appreciate it. And welcome to all of our viewers and subscribers out there. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. And I thought maybe also in the venue of UFO topic, maybe we could bump up a little bit about near-death experiences. You
Absolutely.
know,
Sure.
That otherworldly stuff also.
Absolutely.
And so to kick us off, I had pulled some information going back to 1790 out of my UFO encyclopedia about reports. And there was one by a police in France. But what I've noticed in here, they call them airships, right? And the crazy thing that I noticed was these airships, they identified cattle mutilations also. And they talk about an anchor being dropped from an airship, and that's what they were using. So we're talking a cable, a big cable.
Big cable.
Yeah. And they were doing this with animals. In one person in here, I got a few pages here, they tried to pick him up that way. And I'm thinking,
wow,
you know, this does not sound like advanced technology. I mean, in the sense where we're seeing it today, because we've
could have been a different planetary. Don't you think it could have been somebody from, because we know there's so many different types of ETs that are visiting us. Could have been that was
a different type doing it. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. But then, and then they kept, the words come up, cultural tracking. That kept coming up in the, isn't that interesting? Cultural tracking.
Well, if you think about it, that's what we do when we test rabbits and you know, we use monkeys, we do all that, and we watch their behavior, like Jane Goodall out in the out in the Amazon, you know.
Is she the one with the chimpanzees that lived with them? Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, she was a good person. She didn't do anything bad. But
did you see
that? There are good bad. Yeah.
I saw. I think it was her last interview, and she said it was like a light came on, and she looks and she says, "They are human.
Oh yeah,
they are human.
They are. Yeah.
Yeah."
When you think about it, actually, we treat our dogs, and our dogs are really intelligent as well. And maybe and I'm sure a lot of cats are too. But you know, the way we treat them is like our children. So they, to us, are humans as well. So it's all about
really intelligent animals.
Absolutely,
my animals are way too intelligent. I was saying that last night. We just spell things out.
You can't do anything secretive around them anymore. They know your agenda.
My dog that I had before, I wouldn't even say something. I would just be in the kitchen and I would think, oh, I'll get him a treat. And he would run in and look at me. So we did have, we had telepathic.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the entries in here was by a man named Alexander Hamilton. And in April of 1897,
president.
Well, no, this is Alexander Hamilton, a farmer in Kansas.
Oh,
a different one.
Yeah, he was woken by an extraordinary attack on his cattle.
Oh.
He saw an airship descend over its ranch, which he described as being cigar-shaped, approximately 300 feet long, and with a transparent undercarriage. He also reported seeing 6 entities, the strangest beings I ever saw, is what he said. Apparently, the airship dropped a thick cable around one heifer's neck and flew off with it while Hamilton and farm workers watched in amazement. Worse was yet to come. The following morning, a local neighboring rancher found the hide, head, and lids of the butchered animal in his field. Prudently enough, Hamilton commented, "I don't want any more to do with them," the entities. Here is a most extraordinary example of cultural tracking. Not only is the UFO apparently some sort of airship designed similar to airships that would soon be flying in the United States, but even the abduction method matches the methods of the time, i.e., a lasso to restrain an animal. Apparently, the airship was not equipped with the sort of levitation beam that future UFOs would soon be using. I thought that was just really interesting.
It really, and it explains cattle mutilation. But then when I watched that other show about how the guy was out in the forest going moose hunting, and he shot his gun and it bounced off something. They had like a force field around the moose, and they explained to him, "Sorry, I know that you wanted that one, but we need this one," and they brought it up to their ship. So, just between those 400 years, or whoever is doing it, coming down here, it's been changed over time period. So,
well, yeah, and the question comes up. It's not out of the realm, though, that man was actually building these things way back before.
Oh yeah,
and because we've always had others here, and so with working with them, I don't know, but it just seems strange that they didn't see a more advanced type of ship.
You got to think about this too, though. When you're talking about this is a mythology in a lot of ways. It has been for a long time. So the first people that saw, for instance, a total eclipse of the sun, when they saw it, they didn't know how to explain it, so they used their language to explain what it was. So my feeling is that that's exactly what this was. It was, you use the language that you have to explain what it is that you're seeing.
Yeah,
so and that thing was a beam, but it looked to them like a cable.
I see what you're saying. Okay, so they didn't really see. Or they could have made that image in their mind because they do that.
Because we all perceive things differently, even the same thing. You'll notice that when you see if there's a car accident and they ask everybody in the area, what about this? What did you see? And everybody sees something different. It's like, weren't you all there at the same?
Exactly. I like that.
Kansas. Why does it always have to be Kansas?
It's northeastern Kansas. That's why. Hi, Roger. You've seen a UFO. There's something seldom reported by witnesses about how eerily terrifying it is to see something that big, motionless. Imagine a NASA rocket motionless watching you. Yeah, absolutely, Jamie. Absolutely. That is, I've seen one myself, and I understand. I didn't feel watched, though. But I can't imagine what it must have been like for the 1790 farmer who doesn't have the words for any of this. And it's, there it is. And it's taking his cattle, and he's, what can he do? Yeah. Wow. Exactly. That's interesting, Loretta. Thank you for finding that. I had no idea there was anything in the United States at that time that was reported.
And this was research done by a British citizen. He was involved with the British MUFON people. And so, Yeah, it was really interesting.
Well,
This is a,
oh, go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead. Go
Well,
ahead.
real quick, you talked about France. One of the first things was in France that you mentioned, and they have, surprisingly, with all the arts they have a lot of inventions and science.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Da
makes you
Vinci.
wonder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Da
Yeah.
Vinci. Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. It makes you wonder if they
Mhm.
were in contact. And of course, all creation is from above. All our art
Yeah.
and all that, it's inspired. Carl, you got a good question.
Yeah, I like that.
I do too. But for me, I think our soul is limitless and we've incarnated in many, many different places, including
Yeah.
other planets. And so our soul never dies. Our
Yeah, I
soul,
think our soul is it in the divine realm. We go back to the divine realm, the God
right.
place.
Mhm.
And because they look at Earth as a battlefield. They call it the battleground Earth or the battlefield Earth.
That's
And
all they
we have
see. It's all
yeah,
they see.
and
Yeah.
we have to go back and rest and recuperate, and they get us all good again, and we rest and we examine what we did and what we didn't do, and
Mhm.
then after we're sufficiently rested, then we start counseling with the wiser ones on what we want to do next. Where can we go
Correct.
next and affect uh, change for good, evolution and all that.
Mhm.
And you decide then, are you going to come back to Earth, or do you have a multiple life mission
Right.
on Earth, or are you ready to go explore another galaxy, universe, dimensions? Because
Mhm.
evidently the dimensions that we're in, and then I got to talk about Jerry Wills. It's like the Russian dolls, how they're one
Sure,
inside
the
the
nesting
Yeah.
dolls. Yeah.
other.
Interesting.
There you
It's
go. Yeah.
exactly how it's
I
set
love
up.
that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes, yes.
it is.
That makes
Jerry
sense.
Wills talks about it. That portal, the doorway in the stone. Where's it at? Um, Nevada, Arizona. Is it Peru? I don't think so. I think it's here in the United States. One of the shamans told him the tones to open that portal up.
Hmm.
And he's never shared it with anyone else. He has let 2 of the tones out, but that's it. Because people have found the tones. You kneel into it and put your hands up, and there's a little bowl thing. Your forehead goes in, and you make these tones. His wife was like 300 feet away when he did this. It was like 11 o'clock at night, and she saw him like burst into a light, and then he vanished. Now, in actuality, it was only a few minutes, but where he went, this was fascinating. And this is on Gaia. If you have Gaia, you go
So
to
it's Jerry Wilcox, you said? Jerry?
Jerry Wills. He's a
Oh,
healer.
okay.
Where's my book on Jerry? Here it is, right here. Jerry Wills, the healer.
Oh, Wills. Okay.
Yeah, Wills. And he's got a website also.
Okay.
But that's where the Russian dolls effect comes in.
Hmm.
Because according to the voice, he went there and it was all white. You couldn't see a floor, wall, nothing. It was just all white. And he had to be standing on something, at least he thought, but it didn't feel like you're standing on something, and when the time came when he ran, he was running back towards the door, towards Kathy, his wife. He said it was the strangest thing. He's running, but it's not like you're hitting the floor, but you're moving. And but it's just like the Russian dolls. The voice that talked to him, he said it was like when you're in junior high school, and they got the intercom out in the, it was
Yes.
exactly like that. Yeah.
Okay.
And he said that it
Wow.
was totally an accident that this happened. And then it took on a life of itself,
So you're saying that it was a different dimension that he brought himself into?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And luckily he had the presence of mind because of Jerry's life story, and you should check it out. he was able to keep control of his own faculties, once he went in there, and then the shock of it, and it's like, oh, he calmed himself down, and then he called out to see if anyone was there, and
Wow.
it was amazing. But there's plenty of people that have gone through that doorway have never returned, and the natives around there call that the Devil's Gateway or the Devil's Doorway or something like that.
Don't you think they just stepped into a parallel reality, or
They
like,
went into another dimension,
or a parallel life? Yeah.
and but he said though that if you have a direct particular place that you want to go to, you keep that in your mind, and you can travel there through that portal, because it's a portal. So anyway, I just thought
I'm reading a book right now about parallel worlds of the self. And I'm not that far into it. I was telling people last night on my dream show, but I have almost every line underlined, because it's about how your dream state is a parallel world as well. And there are other states that it reminds me of the time shifts that people experience.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit about that last time, I think, but it's amazing. It's all of a sudden you open. I remember reading somewhere this person opened up their blinds and they looked out at their yard, and it was like different. Like
really?
there wasn't anything out there. It was like you saw a haystack, or you saw, something like that. And they kept looking and looking, and they're saying, what is this? And it was there. Yeah, it was another time they were looking at.
Wow. Yeah.
And, I don't know how you get there, but.
Yeah. Jerry does, he's able to do, what do you call that when you go out of body? Yeah, the out of body stuff, I guess. But anyway, there's a place he calls Cafe at the End of the Universe. And, different people from different timelines, different universes, dimensions, they stop by there. And it's like, it's got a wooden floor and a couple of wooden walls. And, he gets this orange muffin there. But then the rest of it's all open, right, to the universe. So, and he calls the guys that come in on a regular basis, he calls them the ancient dudes. They're from like Greece and Egypt.
Socrates comes in.
Yeah, that kind of thing, and really wise ones. He likes to hang out there. So I thought, if I ever do astral travel outside my body, I'm headed over to the cafe at the end of the universe.
And Teresa Ford says that's from Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker of the Galaxy series. Yes, that's right. I remember reading about that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dr. Ann says, I think time is a tether for 3D because it isn't a factor for other dimensions.
Yeah, it's really not.
I like that, Ann. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
I like that too. Yeah.
So, interesting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my comment stopped. I believe that. And I also believe that we are, I have the dandelion theory that I was sort of forced to accept because you have your higher self, and your higher self is like a dandelion, and the seeds go all over the place. And there's that one dandelion. Of course, it's connected to all the others. All the roots are everywhere. But you spread the seeds, and all those seeds go out and get nourishment or information or whatever it is, and they die, and all that goes back to the one dandelion. And that's kind of what our higher self and source is. And so we have all these different lives and timelines and past lives and alternate. Yeah. So I totally believe it. So when one of us dies, there's still us tethered, like you say, to the earth or another dimension, and we're just constantly receiving information. Yeah.
Absolutely. So many of us have had some starseed to find out what other planets we may or may not have ever lived on, because I don't believe, obviously, that there's just this. The problem that most people have is that they do not want to believe in any of this because it throws off their God concept. But to me, it makes more sense. It's like you can still have faith that God is everywhere and doing it isn't like, everything's going to now just collapse from your belief system. So
They call it the source.
yes, the source.
Yeah.
And you could, for that, you could say you're not deleting your God consciousness. You're adding to it.
You are.
Mhm.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. That's awesome.
It really is.
So what did Jamie say? He had
What did you
something
say? It was up here. It was something
this
about the Titanic was connected.
Roger.
facsimile called
Where's that?
We're a lot of UFOs, are time machines. You have to kind of believe. Flying craft were reported by Titanic survivors. Come get me, please. I'm in the first. Oh my God.
I would have been lucky if that had happened.
Well, and a lot of people are also, there's a belief, and I know Linda G and others talk about it, is that they have stopped nuclear buttons from going off.
Yeah.
And many, because can you imagine being out? I remember this example, and it was perfect. Can you imagine being at a football game? You don't know anything about football. You don't know what they're doing out there. There's a ball, and it's going back and forth, and people are pushing each other down and fighting out there, and people are saying, "Yay!" It's like the gladiator thing.
Oh, yeah.
And people in the UFOs are going, WTF down there? What is... And it kind of, they just see us, everything is, even sports is violent. So yes, we're on the war planet.
It's a huge reflection of our violence. Really.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it is.
Well, real quick, oh gosh, what was I going to say? Okay, I live near the area where they filmed the movie The Day After Tomorrow, or not The Day After Tomorrow. What was it called? Where they had the nuclear? It was in Kansas. They filmed it in Lawrence, Kansas, which is just down the road from me. And the theory, we had to watch it in high school, scared the hell out of me. And the theory was, well, it was based on the fact that we have nuclear missiles buried in like cornfields and wheat fields and things like that. And at any moment, we could be attacked and be set off and all die, all of that. Well, down the road on the way to Lawrence is DeSoto, Kansas, and they have these power plants, and they would bury these things in the ground. And so that's where I've seen some actual UFOs, and other people have noticed that too.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so they are protecting it.
They monitor them. Yeah, they monitor them.
I totally believe that theory. In fact, there's that picture Putin last year, and there are actually, have you seen that? There's like things in the sky behind him.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I haven't seen that.
Surprise me.
I've heard the reports of, all the UFOs over Ukraine and over that nuclear waste
over
there.
Ukraine.
Yeah. And
so, I love this Cosmic Blue. You chat with your parallel self on Earth Parallel, where you're a scientist, specialist. We're all synchronized. I visit her in her lab. There you go.
Wow.
Look at that. You have a totally different, this is actually what I told everybody about on Apple TV about the series Dark Matter. It explores parallel lives and how it's very good. It's of course fictionalized, but it's very very well done.
Where's that at anyway?
It's on Apple TV.
Apple
TV. You could get it, watch it, and then get rid of it. That's what we do.
Yeah.
And that too.
Oh, The Day After, Patty. Is that what you're saying?
The Day After. Okay, that's probably what that is.
Yeah.
It's a scary movie.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. The day that
well,
stood still.
we have an alternative Carl here, which is wonderful, and they're talking to each other.
Maybe it's actually the same Carl, but it's just
it could be in a parallel life, because he's the quiet one. He says he never comments, so that's why we never knew you were here. We welcome him. We're glad you're here, and
welcome everybody.
Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah.
So
yes.
Yeah,
this is true. Whoops. Sorry.
I wanted to touch a little bit on near-death experience too.
Okay, let's do it.
Have either one of you ladies experienced anything like that?
I haven't, but my husband did in November.
Okay.
When he was really sick, we didn't know why, and they brought him in and they injected him to do a test, and they put the dye in him, and he went. He went into a coma for a very short period of time, sort of, so to speak. And he could hear me, but he said I was so far away, so far away.
Oh, wow.
And he said, the doctor said, we may have to intubate, which the doctor did say.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he came up off the chair and said, no. And he said at the time he took every bit of him to do that. And he did go through sort of this life review thing while he was, it happens like this. It's not like this long thing, but he said he wasn't quite ready yet. It wasn't his exit point, but yeah.
Now he did that. He set up before they incubated him. Is that what you're saying?
No, he when he came out of the intubate, I mean, he went into the state, and then he heard the doctor say that because he wasn't coming out of it. And that's when he said it in front of me, because he said, do you think he'd mind? And I said, I don't, not with all this stuff we've been watching in 2020. Did we want to go that route? Yeah. Yeah. So,
right. Exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, what about you, Amy?
Well, I've told you I've had dreams where I've been on the other side. And I remember very specifically, I've always had dreams of, I think, past life. But it was junior high. And I remember specifically this dream where just one, I would have dreams with my spirit guides. But this one, I was in a garden, and I've talked about this before, where the flowers were singing. And every time I tried to stand up and talk, the flowers would sing louder. And I was humbled, and I had to get down on the ground. And the gardener was my spirit guide, I believe now. And he was like, shh. And I think I was being healed because I had had so much trauma from my childhood and anxiety. And then with John, he sat with me on the other side several times. We watched purple sunsets that kind of look like Ireland and green hillsides and things like that. And I really believe that from things I've read, because I've always been interested in near-death experiences, that I've been there. And I think we've all been on the other side. We just don't remember in our dreams. We've all visited.
Definitely. Yeah. I got
Loretta?
I got an email this morning. I talked about consulting with Matt on the show last time. He's back in New Jersey. And I'd send him a 30-minute video of a show I did. And it didn't have anything to do with near-death experience. And he responded to me that the way I communicated was like someone who had been through a near-death experience, is how he picked up on that. And not a singular one, but a shared near-death experience, which I had never heard of before. And there's a William J. Peters. He wrote a book, At Heaven's Door. Have you read this?
No, but I've read other ones much like it. Yeah.
Well, I got an invite this morning to join their little support group,
Excellent.
So, yeah. And because, like I said before when I talked about it, for me, it wasn't a physical death, but everything else about our humanness for me was like a physical, it was going through death. So anyway, I found that interesting. So I'm going to check that out.
Yeah, you should. Yeah. There is so many people in the chat. Jules, a near-death experience changed her life. We have Lori Hunsinger. She believes she was on another planet and dressed like in Star Wars. And then we have Cosmic Blue, who had an NDE when she gave birth during emergency surgery. Dr. Ann's been an astral traveler ever since she was a child. Tina McSee, NDR, pushed back by my guides, fasting and fainted and went to the light to be turned back. Linda Kennedy, but one time in surgery, I was outside of my body looking at everything. And Cosmic Blue, again, I know I'm moving through dimensional parallels by looking at lights, and I see the spectrum of color. I mean, we've got a whole bunch of people here who absolutely
have experienced it.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you want a support group, I believe you can go to Shared Crossing Project.
Okay.
You should be able to Google that.
All right.
And it is William J. Peters, the doctor, the PhD, that is facilitating this. So,
There was another guy that was a surgeon, and I can't remember his name. It started with a T, and he absolutely was a science guy.
Yeah.
None of this stuff. And he had one, completely changed his life. And he came out to talk about it. And the medical community went to him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And which is what they did to Stephen Greer as well.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
All of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyone.
But, anyone that defies the norm.
Yeah, the corporate there's a corporate structure, and you've got to play ball or
that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Jordan Maxwell, I was listening to him this morning. Guy's very smart. Have you guys heard of him or
who was it
Jordan
again?
Maxwell?
Jordan Maxwell.
Okay.
Jordan Maxwell's old-time dude, been around for one long time, and he's got ancient knowledge. In fact, I posted what was it? I think it wasn't all that long of a video, but it was about language, and you might find this very interesting, Aley, being you're a professor. But how we are, our bodies or corporations. That is why when we die, they call us a corpse, because it is the end of the corporation. You see?
And that's why corporations are people, as far as the law goes.
Yes. But he talks about, he's studied language, and it's like the word understanding. He says, look at it like this. It's like if you're going to put heavy machinery on the 3rd floor of a 3-story building, he says, you want to go to the 2nd floor and look above and examine what all that it is. Can it bear the weight?
Because they do cut corners. We know they cut corners as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Wow.
Anyway.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
And now, so if we're corporations, I want my tax. I want my $1 million tax.
Yeah. You're the 1%.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got a lot of wonderful knowledge.
Wonderful knowledge.
So, he's worth checking out.
So I am only going to do this one time, but at the very beginning, I had posted some documentaries that I've been watching on Prime, and I'm just going to mention it again. So if anybody wants to,
can you bring it up on the screen, because that's really good.
Were you talking, Carolyn Booker? Were you talking about? Peter wanted to know if we read Stephen King's Talisman. I have not read. Yeah,
heard of it.
Never. No.
Oh, Stephen King. I'm sorry.
I think it's Stephen King. She wanted to know, but that a lot of what Stephen King's messages do come from his dreams. All his monsters come from there and everything. I think the man has traveled and done a lot of things, and of course, all of books and things are sort of channeled.
Well, so, and another thing too, that promotes fear, and it's one thing that we do not want to be in, because it feeds the dark forces that we have to deal with.
There's a fine line. You're right. There's a fine line. And this is what this book I'm reading is saying. It says everything that you do is a preparation for your reality. It's a part of your reality, even if it's not good. So, for instance, I used to watch the murder mystery shows. I really don't want that in my life, though. I don't want to create that reality, but it's hard to get that wrapped around that concept, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, one time I was writing, see, this is how we do create sometimes. And like you're talking about Stephen King, the kids were at their dad's. It was probably right after the divorce, and they were at their dad's. So I was alone. And I had been writing the very beginning of a book where a guy breaks into a woman's house. And then someone literally tried to break into my house at night. And I was like, I can't write anything like that ever again because I'm
Wow.
too intuitive and I manifest things like
Yeah.
that. So it really did scare me. It spooked me out big time.
Sure
Mhm.
did. Sure did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even my kids, when I was here alone, and because I'm out in the woods, and it's, what if this happens? What if that happens? It's like, it's
Yeah,
okay.
don't.
It's
Yeah,
it's
you
okay.
can't stand in fear. You can't live in fear. No.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, so we have a twin Carl here, and he's from the UK. He's been
Oh,
watching us for months, and only now does he join the chat because he's shy. If you would
oh.
like a reading, he would like a reading. Well, maybe Loretta's running the show here, so if she
Yeah,
says,
yeah. We open it up to readings. We can do
all right,
that. Yeah.
okay,
Let's
that's.
do.
For fellow Carl.
But we have to ask alternative Carl if he wants a reading. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
We need your permission to do it, because we just don't start reading people in the chat. So let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you just want us to pull you a few cards?
We'll just pull you a few cards. Yeah.
All right.
I got some new cards here that are cool. Let me check them out.
All right. Me too. I've got the Tarot of the Fairy Folk. I really like it.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. All right. These are called telepathy oracle cards.
Oh, I like those.
Different.
Yeah. Here's my little the Tarot of the Fairy Folk.
That's cute.
And this is the fool back on the back of it. I do. I love the characters. I love the language of it. So alternative Carl.
Alternative Carl.
Okay. A few cards.
Yes. Well, it's interesting. He says he's in the UK, and you see, Carl Hees is in the Philippines. So we have people from all over the
wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
I would say this is a very, very interesting community. There are people that lurk for a long time. And that's fine. It's fine if you lurk. It's fine.
Yeah, it really is.
Carl the Remix. Okay, we'll call him Carl the Remix. Yeah. Okay, Pierrette, and I have Tina. I have you listed here. All right, so I'm going to just put that. All from an alternative universe. You guys are a riot. There's so much to cover that, we're going to be doing this for like once a month. And we talked about this at the last show. So if you've got something that you want to discuss, or you've got an experience, Loretta and Amy, I'm sure you don't mind if somebody even wants to come on and talk about it.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That'd be wonderful. Yeah. Yeah, we're open to guests coming in.
Definitely.
No problem.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to let you go, Loretta. All right. Carl 2.0.
Carl 2.0. That's really good. I've got, this is interesting. Carl, I pulled 3 cards from the Fairy Folk, and I got the Moon, the 5 of Cups, and the Hermit.
Ooh. Well, that would talk about his shyness, wouldn't it? The last one.
Yeah, but I'm going to use the Fairy Folk
sure.
language because I like the way they communicate. It says, much is unseen, and the path ahead is not exactly clear as you fumble to make sense of the shifting shapes and shadows. It is time to look into your subconscious for answers about the manifestation that we call the world. Watch out for hidden obstacles and enemies. Allow the radiance of your soul to light the way. And then the 5 of Cups. Oh, God. I know. I like the way they talk. 5 of Cups. A time of loss, mourning, and grief, turning your back on your blessings, depression, sadness, The glass is half empty, dwelling on loss and disappointment, a time of waiting, a time to mindfully cultivate gratitude and rethink a situation from that vantage point. Remember, you can change the world by changing your mind. It is okay to feel sad sometimes. And then the hermit here tells you, the hermit is 9. Okay. The hermit says, it is time to go off on your own to discover your purpose and ignite your soul's fire. Take the time to look within and go on a vision quest. Only you know the answer. Block out all external forces and chatter as you look within to find your inner light and illuminate your journey. There you go. That was pretty cool.
And that sounds like what you're doing, Carl.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Amy.
Well, I got 2 cards about health. I got Archangel Raphael and the literal health card. I don't know if you see. And that I got the throat chakra in reverse. So that is that shyness and being afraid to speak up for yourself. And then Archangel Michael, you're working very closely with this powerful archangel who's protecting and guiding you through the situation. So there could be something about his health that he isn't speaking up about. It could even be emotional health because and he's
he said he's kind of stepping out today by doing what he's doing.
Yeah, I think that's really good, and it is good for you to get to speak up more and not be so alone, because it can affect your health and even cause. So keep reaching out.
Definitely has a blocked throat chakra. Yeah. Wow. All right, Carl, the remix. This is a riot because this is a twin flame doesn't have to be a lover or anything. It's just somebody that had, and it says here that they contain an aspect of each other's personality. And so because Carl's wanted you to have a reading and he spoke up, I say it's your alter, this is so cute, honestly. But they say, don't worry, having boundaries is important and very sensible. So you're doing what you need to do in order to grow, and yet you're still setting boundaries and not. But it says your strengths and weaknesses are being tested, and that's true because you're trying to figure out what. But look at this one, Carl. The doors are opening for you, and look at what's ahead. A whole new landscape of information, life, and beauty.
Yeah.
So welcome and thank you for speaking out today and letting us know you were here.
Yes, thank you.
I have, speaking of depression, okay, so I've fought depression my whole life. And so I know. I'm sure we all know. We all experience it at some point. One of my favorite YouTubers was called Pretty Pastel Please, and she recently passed away at the age of 30. She kind of looked, felt, sounded like a sister. I was and my niece and my daughter and me, and I just feel so devastated. And I think, we are in difficult times right now. So if anybody who is depressed, you have to hang in there. I mean, it really is like up and down. And sometimes it's really down and other times you're really up, but you do have to hang in there because you're going to miss the good days if you don't hang in there. And there are good days.
We need you. We need you here.
Yes.
I think it's hard to reconcile the fact that we write our own soul contracts and we ask for the things that we do, especially if you're disabled, if you have things come up in your life that are really depressing, or you're having you come in bipolar or whatever information that you chose it, but that's not easy. Doesn't mean it's going to be like, oh, okay, I chose that, so I'll be okay, because we don't think of it that way.
There's no lesson in that. It's the struggle is where the lesson comes from. Yeah.
You're most welcome, Carl 2.0.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, so there was
oh my God.
Tina, I would like a reading.
Okay. Well, I pulled out my Work Your Light Oracle.
Okay. What is that noise?
It could be I have a radio on behind me.
Oh, that's okay. It's like, yeah, ET phone home.
Could be that too.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Okay.
Tina.
Let's see. Tina.
Oops. Hmm.
I got one here. It says,
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I pulled one that says, trust your path. If you know you would be supported, what would you do? Trust your path. There you go.
Interesting. These are pretty cards.
Yeah, they are. That's the only one I got drawn. Let's see.
That's the one. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. Oh.
The one behind it was Council of Light, divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realms. You got lots of support.
Oh, look at
lots
that.
of support for you.
Wow.
That's gorgeous.
Trust your path, honey.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Bye, Lottie.
Yeah, bye.
Bye, Lottie.
Go ahead, Amy.
Okay. Well, I had liberation, inner calling, and then speaking of light, moving toward the light. And so she is definitely, I don't know what specifically she wants to know, but she's definitely moving to a better place. And there probably is a council of light around her that's helping liberate her from a situation that was holding her back. She's moving toward her inner calling. And of course, we have our light. Once you seek the light, it's really inside you. That's where the universe really is. It's inside you.
Yeah.
She needs to work with the crystals. So that's always fun to go find a new crystal. That'll help. Each time you find a new crystal and you're called to do that, it does elevate your receptance. It's like part of your ascension. And emotional sensitivity, and that's something too. She's very sensitive right now. Honor and respect your deep sensitivity, so as it is a gift to us all.
Mm-hmm.
So she heals herself, and it heals us.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. That which we are it's like a ripple effect, right? With or the wave, the wave effect. It just affects the rest of us. So I get here that this is something we all work through, removing the ego idea that, because we have several sides to ourselves. We have the spiritual, we have the physical, we have the mental. But getting out of our way of our ego is it's like a nesting doll, like you said before. It's like you get a little movement, then you go back. And anyway, I'm seeing, Tina, that you may want to go and see if you could access your Akashic Records or have a reading from an Akashic Records reader. That there's a lot of information in there that may help you in your journey. And the next card, it says sacred knowledge. And so, of course, that exists in the Akashic Records. Either that, or if you absolutely, you may or may not be able to do it yourself. I know Valerie Klingenbeck does the Akashic Records classes because I work with her when she does. And there's a lot of people out there accessing them right now. But I'm not trying to sell anything, really. It's just that, it does access our sacred knowledge and lets us know other lifetimes and what we've come here to do in them and how they've been received. So thank you so much. All right, ladies. So here's Miss Loretta. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and the acronym for ego is edging God out.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that's something when the orange dude, which we won't talk about, who's a guy, Deepak Chopra, he was on a talk show and he explained that orange dudes lived in his ego. He had never risen, and that's something you do in life. You ascend up to your crown chakra, which connects to your higher self, and and he's never left that ego spot, and that explains everything. He's just stuck down there.
Well, as far as energy goes, if you follow David Hawkins, who's wonderful, he talks about how we calibrate, and Pam Drinning comes on my show, she says he calibrates only at 130, and we're at 500 and up.
High frequency, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Joe
Yeah.
Biden's at 500, even with his
He's definitely
issues.
up in the light.
Yeah. He's got an army of angels carrying him.
Oh,
Does.
okay. Carolyn Booker saw something move out of me. And she says it's an ET gathering the knowledge you're imparting. Wow.
Aley, get off me, get off me.
Go back to your little spaceship now. Yeah. It's okay. All right. Here we go.
Okay, so as we heal each other. Okay.
Oh, hypnicity. I was told I drowned on the Titanic. I also fell into a pool as a toddler in this life. What's the deal with me and water? Yeah. I'm deathly afraid of death by suffocation or drowning. Yeah, drowning. Water is one of my big fears, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, and I'm afraid of fish, so you'll understand. but I'm Mintakan. That's what I just found out, that I'm from the planet Mintaka. And it's a water planet.
Oh,
interesting. Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, so let's read for Pierrette, if we can. All right. Pierrette, I've got that you are following divine law. Pierrette has her own channel as well.
Yeah.
Very high. She's very high, highly psychic. So this one is saying you're fine, you know, but right now you're busy with other things, and she just lost her husband. She's had a lot of other things. Then she's met someone that she's just started dating recently. So she's got a lot of physical things going on, not as much spiritual. They're waiting for you, Pierrette. They're saying, when the time comes, the Tao of flow will rain down upon you, and everything that you need to know is there. But they also want you to know you are star consciousness. So you were brought here today because you do work with them on the in the star realms. You're very tied to the extraterrestrial or that group. Oh, thank you, Cosmic Blue. I just found out about it. Yeah. What I found out that was most like me was that I work hard for neutrality. I don't like to be too pie in the sky, and I don't like to be negative. So anyway.
I got, it's interesting. When you said that, I'd already gotten friendship, and I put romance back in because I thought not everybody wants to hear about romance, But when you said something about her husband and that she has have a new partner, it's like, okay, I got to get that card. That does mean something.
It does.
But maybe it's that right now it's French. It's at the friendship stage with the new person, and that's honoring her. And I got truth and integrity. Truth and integrity. See how these angels are protecting her? Can't see probably. She's scared. She's scared, and they're protecting her. And also, she does have a lot of no. I don't really want this right now. I feel that her. We have many soulmates. I got the soulmate card, and you do start off as friends. So allow it to be a friendship, and realize that it can develop in time. It doesn't all have to happen in one day. You don't have to go off to Vegas and to honor what she wants. She needs to stay in tune with herself and still have a connection with her husband.
Cool.
It's definitely there. The energy's there to have that.
And I got Star Mother.
Oh, wow.
Reminding you to mother yourself, okay, to nurture yourself. And then I have trust your path. You are supported, okay? It's telling you are supported. The universe has got your back. And then the Pleiades card came up. Double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. You might not feel like you're putting the energy and the grind in, but you are. You are by your presence alone, your frequency, the interaction with anybody and everybody. that you come in contact with.
Uh-huh.
That's what I got for you.
So she says, thank you, Amy. I've been taking the time to see it as a friend would for me.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. We're loving you. Yeah. All right. I think we got Randy. So Randy is going to Mount Shasta.
Nice.
She's a very big traveler. She's from New York, but she's been traveling, staying in Tucson. So she's going to Mount Shasta, and then she's supposed to come up here to Washington.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
If she can. Yeah.
Wasn't Shasta? It's a portal, right? Isn't that a portal? Yeah.
It is.
It's a big meeting spot.
Mm-hmm.
Black.
Yeah, I've been there a number of years ago. We stayed in Weed, California.
I've heard of it. Yeah, that's nearby.
It's like, I laughed my butt off when I saw that. But we stayed at this place, and it was it had a spa in there, and it was, I didn't know this, clothing alternative.
Huh.
Yeah, you could not wear something if you didn't want to.
Oh, okay.
You know, it was your choice.
Whoa.
That
why
wasn't
is it
me.
always?
I know.
Okay. Yeah. Have you ever seen pictures of like nudist colonies? You're like, why is it always the people that probably shouldn't be, whatever?
Yeah.
Because they don't care. They don't care.
Yeah.
My brother he had a membership in a nudist colony, and my older brother. And I'm like, you have he had no kind of a good body, and he didn't care. He didn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Weed is a super small town. It really is. Yeah.
That's right.
All right. Wow.
All right. So we're breathing for Randy?
Yeah. Go ahead, Loretta.
Well, I'm not ready yet. Okay.
Oh, you're not ready. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have here, whatever your imagination thinks it sees and does when you get there, Randy, it isn't really your imagination.
Wow.
So what you see is what you get. It's the truth. There's a lot of lanterns hanging down, and in the middle, it's a beautiful, beautiful light. So I think you will see a lot of things that you will either expect, or maybe you wonder if it's real. Right. The next part is the cardinal directions. They want you to make sure you look in all directions when you're there. Look up, look down, look side to side. I don't know. Why am I getting maybe there's some little folks going to be around, like little elf, like nature spirits or something, because you got nature.
Of course.
There you go.
That looked like a circuit board, that second card.
Yeah, it is like a circuit board. Yeah. And if you'll notice on the sides of it, the DNA strands.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So he's gonna have an upgrade. Is she? She's gonna have an upgrade, don't you think? Yeah.
Yes. I think you're right. She will. Yep. You ready for your upgrade?
Okay. Well, I thought I messed up this because it's pulled the Star Mother, and I thought, so Randy, I pulled, and I thought, okay, I must do something wrong. So I shuffled again. Star Mother came up again.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
It's beautiful. Yeah.
And it's asking, how can you mother yourself? So something's going on that you need to examine how you're doing. Wow. And the Pleiades one came up again. Oh my God. Double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. At Mount Shasta.
Yeah.
Okay. And get grounded. Okay.
There's your nature card.
Connect with nature. Yeah. So I thought that was something. So that's what I've got for you, Randy.
Okay.
So, well, I got the success card, so it will be successful. And there's the waterfalls. So I think you're going to get near some beautiful waterfalls. You probably take some hikes. I'm sure you have to hike to get out there. Yeah. You're never alone, so you will not be alone on your trip. Well, maybe that's physical, but also.
Well, she has a dog that she travels with too, so that dog is always with her. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. Higher thought. So if you get to the peak, the summit or whatever you call it, that's going to be.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing ringing in my right ear.
Ooh.
So there's a lot of energy. And you mentioned Pleiadians. Someone in the comments said it's a portal for Pleiadians.
Okay.
The door to the infinite and power. And look at that, the sword. So it's like He-Man, but she woman, she girl, or whatever.
Yeah.
And the solar plexus. It's time for you to be powerful and take charge of your life in positive ways. So it's going to be it is going to be an upgrade. It really is.
I think so.
Yeah. You're being called to do that. So that's good that it's powerful that you're even doing that in the first place.
That's very true. It's very true.
And you'll be so blessed with all the energy emanating from within the earth because you're in such a magical area at that time.
Yeah.
God, it's beautiful.
Wow.
Well, we've come up to an hour.
We have.
So,
and it's been wonderful. Thank you.
It has. I've really enjoyed this. And so we'll meet up again in about a month, about 4 weeks. And do it again.
In the meantime, if you have anything you'd like to talk about with us, you can email any of us.
Yes.
We all have the channels. And you can come on if you want. I know it's hard enough to get people to come in the chat. Carl, number 2, already told us that, which I'm so glad he did. Because
I am
this is
too.
how we treat our people. We love our chatters very much. But if you feel like you want to come on and talk about it, anything that's happened to you.
Oh, and I got to do this.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Thank you.
She is. Yeah. She is. Always writes on our walls after the show.
Yes. Love her. Love her. Wonderful. So
thanks, everybody.
Thank you. And we'll see you in about 4 weeks.
Next time.
Bye-bye.
All right. That was a